getting there. Pirates Skyhold. This is going to be a really kind of fascinating place to see go away because it's been a lot of fun to go to. I think it's always very creative. It is also way bigger than it probably needs to be. Again, that's kind of lovely because you get to explore this area. But the whole concept here is that you sign up with these with these folks from the company Yargo, and they are in a flying ship, which is a sort of Holruan vessel. They have a nation that has flying ships, and so we are on a skyship that may look like a normal ship. We are high above the air, and I think I die if I take another step. Pretty cool. And so you come in here working with these sort of traders, mercenaries. I forget exactly what their function is. They're working with Neverwinter, and they kind of ally with you because they've got some issues here with all these Lizardfolk who are causing trouble. And so you come into this really neat, I mean, this is great. So first of all, in case it's not clear, we're on a giant floating earthmote, and in fact, series of earthmotes that are connected. So we're high above Neverwinter. We've flown up to this hanging earthmote, and this is something that happened from the Spell Plague, where balls of earth sort of materialized from the sister world of this world. Long story there. But there's a sister world, and chunks got exchanged during the Spell Plague. So we're in one that's just sort of floating up in the area. And it's this swamp up in the sky, and there are lizard folk all over, though maybe someone's taken them down. But there we go. These are kind of neat. The trappers are really rough in that they throw this net that drags you aside, and it's kind of fun. There are also some that go invisible, so you don't always see them when you're moving around. Yeah, like right there. That darter you see is almost invisible in certain situations, and then I can see them. The game does sometimes use your wisdom score to determine how easily you see things. This is also an area that you'll see folks darting back and forth from spot to spot. It's because they're doing these quests for materials that they use for crafting. So those will be moving to other zones. But you can see these kind of neat boardwalks and all of this. There's some fun quests that take place here. But let's go take a look at some of the more common areas. We'll come around here and get more of this view of what the earthmotes are like. So you can see here, just floating rock, and we are going over this network. And so there's this concept, or there's this plot line about the various these lizard folk that are here, but also there is eventually you find out, and you can see there's like a treasure chest you can jump up and claim there. Try not to die. Fun detail. There's also this you realize that behind them is this pirate, and I was talking about that before. There's sort of another pirate lord that is involved, and so you do a dungeon that takes out that pirate, which is kind of cool. A really fun idea, these sort of linked earthmotes. Really cool. And it's also fun area because sometimes you're just flying around trying to go as quickly as you can, and then suddenly you find that you went over the edge and you're dead. Alright, so let's try to go back to the main zone, see if I can find my way. Where am I going? I want to go back over to here. There we go. And there's all kinds of fun quests. You at some point come here and you talk to Scout Tragold. And the idea is some of them are kind of stranded on this area, and so you're dealing with them and you know, doing these various quests and so on to interact with them and help them out in exchange for their information and allies. This is kind of fun zone, so you got a kind of a wreck that's fallen over here, and you can investigate it. And there's treasure inside. I think there's a dungeon over here or something. Somewhere around here there's a dungeon you go to. Like a little mini dungeon. Oh, there's another of those observatory areas. Little spyglasses. Yeah, and so you can see we can go through all this area. It's quite a extensive zone. We've only covered this, but we'll zoom through this part really quickly. There's some elemental evil quests that take you to this area, and you travel with Minsk and Boo. There's some Yargo company members here. Oh, and I should say that there's also a fun thing back in that bridge over there. There's a kind of hidden quest that was really fun to get to. That if you kind of travel down these rocks, you can get to a cave with like a giant spider. I forget exactly where it is, but there is. You can somehow get around here, and there's a quest that takes you. You know, you go into this little cave and you fight this spider, and yeah, it's pretty neat. Don't exactly remember how to get there. We can also leap over the edge here. You can see these sort of drowned houses, kind of cool concept. And you can kind of peek over the edges too, see how high up at the ground we are. Other earthmotes in the area. Lizardfolk everywhere. And really, like, few folks would kind of do more than this, especially as there were other ways to level up your character. And this is kind of the most you do, is you might come here. And there's an Acquisitions Incorporated quest that kind of replicates this. So I think that part may remain. But it's sort of fun, this keep that somehow is up on an earth moat, and you would come here and explore it. Ballista's here. There's an Acquisitions Inc. blimp that lands there during the Acquisition Inc. quest version. But that looks like kind of everything, and what's crazy, what's kind of surprising, I should say, is that there is more. You can go up down this trail, and it takes you to a whole nother zone that Neverwinter has here. This parallel long way. And if you did the whole quest chain, then the quests took you up here for one last set of quests. So we have
Will not surrender what's left of our souls to Bartholomew Blackdagger.
Yeah, I think that ties into the whole idea of the pirate, who's a sort of, sky pirate, I guess. Yeah, so then you have undead pirates, because that kind of gets into what's going on here. And Death Pledge Knolls. Oh, I have not been here in a long time. The Judge. And you can get some loots when they're not looking. What a fun place. Clearly, you do not want to be a pirate mutineers that have been tied up. Oh, look at that. And put over the edges, right? Like, what great details. Like, all these, like, hanging places. Really quite impressive. Oop, and I just fell to my death through a hole. So, there you go. All right. How you doing there, Norver the cook? don't jump over the edge. All right, one last area here. So there's this whole zone over in this area. There's some sort of quest here. I don't remember what it was about, but something was here. Catwalks. I mean, it's really it's an enormous area, and so you can see why there's almost nobody here, and yet just an enormous area for this small part of a quest where you go and handle the Black Dagger situation. But I mean, yeah, look at that flying ship off in the distance, so you can see what that looks like. And one that's crashed there. Let's see, can we get there? I barely remember this zone. All right, this will be the end of this zone. This is a very long stream, but this is kind of the last chance to do it, so I'm just going to press on through. Oh, what is this? All right, so that is where you do the Pirate King's dungeon, is in that pit, that hole there. And looks like maybe you can't really get much higher, but that is where the Pirate King is, and so when you do that dungeon, you get there. All right, we have done Pirates Skyhold. If you like what I do here, support my work. I write adventures, I write supplements. One of my most recent works is the Rules for Collaborative Campaign Creation, which you can see the image there on the right side. You can get that for free at alphastream.org by signing up to my mailing list. And you can also support all these other works that I've done on the DMs Guild, dmsguild.com. You can find a list of everything I've worked on, including for other folks, sold through them at alphastream.org, as well as my blog. Subscribe to get updates, including streaming efforts. Like I'm running I'm part of a Dune live stream currently. Teaching how to play Dune. Really fun. So if you go to alphastream.org, you won't miss any of those updates. If you subscribe to YouTube, you'll get everything that I do for that channel.